tell you anything you want to know.
Well, Pico, it's great to be here.
No.
Thanks for having us in. Thanks for having kitchen songs in your home and in your kitchen. And,
yeah, that's most unusual. Yeah.
Well, we hope so.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah.
I'd guess that this kitchen gets well used for music and
Yeah,
chat and everything, really.
Yeah, it does really. It's the centre point really of the whole Ryburn three-step movement, whatever you call it. Yeah, and as such, we've never had a chance to decorate it. So we just stick more posters and things up on the wall, and just hope it covers the grotty wallpaper.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, all this memorabilia. Brilliant. Yeah. Your life is around you.
Something like that, yeah.
How long's Ryburn? Ryburn Three-Step, this very active folk organisation in the region, really.
Yeah, it's been going for a good few years. 22 years, I think, this year. Something like that. Yeah, I mean, we started off in the village with dances, and then we just added bits, as we went through. We added the folk club, and then dance teams, and Harry Bernstein came across, and Sue drove him around, and got hooked on the appellation, so she started that, and so we got a longsword team, and then in '97 we started the Mummers, the Long Company Mummers, and that carries on. And most recently, two of our teenage sword dancers went to Shrewsbury Festival last year, and went to a couple of the rapper workshops, and came back and said, we want to start a rapper team. Can we use the shop, which is next door? So they started that in September. Recruited all the girls. The oldest is 17, the youngest is 12, and they organise it all themselves. Call themselves Red Door Rapper.
Can I'd like to talk to you about your songwriting,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that there are many facets to you performing, and songwriting is just a part of it. But you have written quite a few songs over the years, and I was wondering what first inspired you to write songs?
Well, I went to Halsey Manor years and years ago. This is when I was a student in Cheltenham, and I went down with the songwriters. This was in the 60s, 64, 65. And Johnny Handel and the High Level Ranters were down, and of course they were singing all this sort of Georgian, Northumbrian stuff. And there was a little workshop, I think, on a Sunday, and Johnny just sort of went round the room and he said, where are you from? And I said, well, I come from Cheshire. So he said, oh, well, sing us a song from Cheshire. And I had no songs from Cheshire at all. But what I did find, while I was looking for songs, was a few yarns and a few folk tales. And the first one I came across was the story of the Wizard of Alderley Edge, which was the preface to a children's book written by Alan Garner called The Weird Stone of Brisingamen. And I'd sort of come across the book, but I'd come across the book in 1964 when I was doing 1965, when I was doing a children's library course at Teacher Training College. But I'd also come across a Victorian country vicar's version of the story. And I thought, well, I'll make a good yarn. So I just sort of sat down and retold a story, using a traditional tune. And then once I'd shaped it up, I then created its own original tune. And I thought, oh, well, that seems to work, and people seem to like it. And I found other tales, including the story about Joseph Baker, which may or may not be a true story, I don't know. But I mean, I've altered it so much.
Was that your early method then, to use another framework and then sort of develop it into gradually into your own?
Well, that's sort of all I knew, really. And I mean, what attracted me to folk songs in the first place, traditional songs, was the stories and obviously the tunes. Yeah, fine. And I did find I found some good stories. So I wrote half a dozen songs that were based on old folk tales from Cheshire. And then I started Northwich being an industrial town, I then sort of altered the emphasis a little bit. Although there was still a narrative element to a song called Farewell to the Brine, which was about the salt industry, which my father had been involved with. So really, in a sense, that was the first time I'd actually approached a subject and created it really all the way through. But you have to bear in mind that throughout the 70s, there was this great raft of traditional LPs coming out of Topic and Bill Leader's label, of which that me and Chris recorded, of course. So I was learning all the traditional stuff and just writing the occasional song.
But there was a great raft of traditional stuff. But there was also that was a major time for all the contemporary songwriters coming out. So did you not? Did you feel sort of unaffected by that? Or?
I didn't. I just sort of felt, oh God, mate, don't come here with your troubles. I've got enough of my own. I never did like the introspective stuff, because I just sort of felt in the end, and I think it's still true of some songwriters, is that at the end of the day, all they've told you about is themselves. And if I do the occasional songwriting workshop, I mean, I don't do many, but I do them occasionally. I sort of try and encourage the writer to take themselves out of the song.
Yeah.
And whilst in the back of their mind they may still be the lead character in this in this song, to give this person a name, because it just sort of pulls back a bit, and maybe they can be a little bit more objective rather than subjective.
Have a bit more general appeal that way as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, most of your songs, as you say, are not terribly personal, but that there is one that I was listening to just yesterday called The Alimony Run, which I feel is...
You've caught me out. Yeah.
Which is very personal, but fantastic song, I think. Yeah, but it does seem to be out on its own there.
Yeah,
in your
and that
material.
was a family thing. I mean, if you've heard the song, you can guess what it's all about. I don't sing the song now. I haven't sung it for years for the simple reason it didn't look. Actually, that song came very, very quickly. I just latched onto that phrase, the Alimony Run. God knows where that came from. Just there it was, and that was just a particular set of circumstances.
But
and
one in common with lots of people, I think that's...
yeah. But the thing is that for me, anyway, a good 16, 17 years later, it actually had a happy ending that I hadn't anticipated, so I don't sing it now because it's...
Oh, I see. Well, it's a great song.
And I can't do that breaking my voice now. I smoked too many fags, but I am going to, on the day of Thatcher's demise, I am going to resurrect the Waves of Tory again. And the nice thing about that is apparently Peggy Seeger played Ewan MacColl, the Waves of Tory, and the Waves of Tory is based on the Cruel Mother,
right.
As a narrative as it goes through Thatcher's reign and politics and all the problems. It follows it follows the pattern, if you like, of the Cruel Mother, and it actually mentions she was the cruelest mother that ever was born, sort of thing. And apparently Ewan MacColl really liked it. He thought it was good. I didn't know him. That came back to me from Peggy via somebody else, because I don't really know.
Great thing to hear, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that was
affirming.
Good. The Jackdaw song I actually wrote with the banjo in mind, and a particular tuning in mind. I just discovered this amazing tuning, and I got a long neck banjo, not the one I've got now, but another one. And I was playing around. I thought, that's the sort of... I had in mind a sort of tune I wanted. So I just sort of tuned the banjo and just sort of fiddled around with what I was making up in the air, with what I can actually play on the banjo. So that's the way I've approached stuff. I mean, with the Pennine Way, it needed to be a tub-thumping, marching sort of loud song, and it had to be the melodeon. So because that's the loudest of the lot.
But I mean, your consistent use of brass over the years is actually fairly unusual, I think.
Well, yeah, well, circumstance really, because again, in the 70s, when me and Chris did our second album for Bill Leader, and we recorded it, just up the road in Greetland, Johnny Adams played trombone, and at that stage, one of the guys that used to come to the local session, a guy called Lynn Dobson, who used to play sax with Soft Machine, I think. He lived locally, but he liked playing folk music, played flute as well. So we roped him in to play, to do some brass, and Johnny with trombone as well, on a dance tune that we did. And I think it was just that one item, a tune called the P&L Polka, which was a composed tune that was used on board P&L ships, I think. And then it's just, John continues to play trombone. He plays with the Old Swan Band. So if the song needs a bit of brass, fortunately, Michael Beek lives locally, and he's a very good tuba player. Johnny's still got his trombone, and Kirsty Bromley, who you probably know as a singer, but she's not a bad trumpet player as well. So on the last album I did that version of Biker Hill with a little brass trio, and got Kirsty to play a trumpet on that. But I don't go around looking for songs to write. They suddenly creep up and hit me at the back of the head. And I've got ideas for songs. I don't write many songs, so in some ways all of this stuff that we've talked about is qualified by the fact that really my first love is traditional music, and I've returned mainly to that. And I do sing one or two songs by other people, that I particularly like, that I think, oh, I wish I'd written that sort of thing, But so I'm not your typical songwriter, really, in that sense.
Well, Pico, I was wondering if you could tell us a bit about this project, the Kidson project that you have. I believe it's current and coming to fruition. Tell us a bit about him and what you're doing.
Yeah, well, Frank Kidson was a antiquarian folk song collector. He was born in Leeds in 1855. Lived in Leeds all his life, and was a bibliophile, a photographer, early broadcaster, and a landscape painter. He was, an amazing character. So the plan is to do a concert series aimed at festivals, village halls, theatres, whoever will have us, really, from March 2013. So that's the plan.
It sounds great. Well, Pete Coe.
You want that money I owe you?
No, I was just going to say, you are a multitasker par excellence, aren't you? I remember that one of the first times
I got short attention span.
First time I saw you almost, I'd just moved up to Yorkshire from the south, and I lived right next to the Keighley and Worth Valley Railway, and you had a gig on the train.
Oh God, yeah, I remember that.
And I thought, I must go and see this chap. So I popped the 50 yards down to the railway line to go and watch you. Yeah. And I was stunned because here you were, within one number, playing, singing and dancing on a moving train. I really don't know how you did that. But
that is the how is easy. It's the why that's the difficult. I know. I remember that now because I thought it was going to be a steam train.
Oh, and they put you on the diesel, didn't they? I know. That was disappointing.
Yeah, I wanted my money back.
Anyway, I want to know, is this the secret of your eternal youth? All this hard work?
No, it's
or is it the smoking?
No, it's the smoking and the polyfiller.
Well, it's been great to come to your kitchen,
Yeah,
Pete.
no, it's been great to have you.
Thank you for having us.
It's a great project. As I say, I looked at the website last night, and it began to make sense because when you first talked about it, I thought, the woman's loopy. What's this all about? But I see the point of it all now. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. I'm glad to hear it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I'll see you soon.
Yeah.